Well, the circumstances surrounding this past week for All Out and All In may have been clunky, and the build towards both shows were left to be desired. All In and All Out certainly delivered. We can certainly appreciate Tony Khan and AEW for providing yet another solid pay-per-view, and which All Out was. And the first pay-per-view post CM Punk's firing, I'd say, yeah, pretty damn good. Obviously wasn't as good as All Out or All In, and the magnitude of it, but nonetheless, All Out was a fun watch and good stuff and good little build. We can see going into Grand Slam in a few weeks and Wrestle Freedom and others, but nonetheless, thank you for joining me. Yeah, All Out was good, fairly good. You know, we had some very good matches on the show. Now, for those who didn't catch my Collision review the other day, or didn't watch Collision in general, you would have been curious about Bryan Danielson, as Bryan Danielson, he was one of the big names. We were obviously disappointed that he was not featured on All In and Wembley. Of course, staying back to what happened at Forbidden Door and him getting injured in his match against Okada. But alas, he returned Saturday in time for All Out, and arguably the match of the night with Ricky Starks in that brutal strap match, which was a fun and enjoy to see, and we got Final Countdown again, which was a plus. Now, Bryan Danielson did mention in the post-show media scrum that Ricky Starks kind of carried him throughout that match. Now, obviously, people are going to watch that match and be curious as to why. If he was good to go for this match for All Out, why wasn't it good for Wembley? Well, probably wasn't 100% one, and because the rumor was, or the report was, Ricky Starks for CM Punk. Then obviously Punk, the situation blows over, he gets fired, and Bryan probably stepped in less than 100%, and had a stellar match with Starks, so kudos for him there. But alas, while we're disappointed that Bryan was on Wembley. We will get Wembley again next year, and perhaps Ryan will do what he can to be able to be there for Wembley. So we'll obviously see when we cross that bridge, or when they cross that bridge. But that match, Miro vs. Hobbs, which was a fun, hilarious match, mostly because of the crowd. I mean, getting two big hosses in that match, and you have the crowd chanting meat chants throughout the match. I mean, just hilarious. And then, no surprise, Takeshita versus Omega. That was great. That was just fun. Blast to see. And then the main event, Moxley and Orange Cassidy. I mean, really, it was just a fun card. And alas, we will see what they brew into and continue towards Grand Slam starting on Wednesday, or tomorrow, but it's gonna be fun. Alas, with that out of the way, let's get into a review. Not gonna get into too much about the matches probably, but it's a fun card. They delivered. I already spoke about the build, and I think everyone can say and agree with me, but it was good. So, in the 0 hour pre-show, we had Hangman Page winning a over the budget battle royal. The winner would donate $50,000 to charity of their choice, in which you knew in Chicago he wasn't gonna get cheered, just point blank. I mean, but it's funny AEW tried, at least, but yeah, that was funny. We had a 6-women tag with Willow, Sky Blue, and Shida. Last week, she came into Allin as the women's champion. For All Out, a week later, she's on the pre-show, the 0 hour. Yeah. Versus Diamante. I mean, Mercedes Martinez. I mean, this was fine. But hometown girl, Sky Blue, got the Coke Blue for the win. Who was there. And then the trios tag team match, which again, at least it was on 0 hour, with the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn versus Jeff Jarrett and crew. So, yep. Yeah, I pretty much just call him Jeff Jarrett and crew from now. I love Jay Lethal. Love Jeff Jarrett for what he did in TNA and before, but we get it. Start the main card. Ring of Honor tag team titles were on the line. This was funny. So, we had Better Than You, Baby, and MJF and Adam Cole versus Dark Order's John Silver and Alex Reynolds. This was, like I said, funny in the sense, well, they played up, well, particularly after, but they played up MJF's neck issue from last week. Allin. Reynolds took a chair and hit MJF in the back, which took him out for pretty much the majority of the match. So he went to the back, got looked at. And pretty much it was like a handicap match. For the majority. So, and which, look, like I said, I like the Dark Order. You know, I like they're going a character change. Feels like it's needed. You know, wondering about Stu Grayson. I'm not sure if he's fully on Ring of Honor now. If he left the Dark Order, I mean, really, it's, yeah. Either way, you know, yeah. But my match here, it's just, you know, with the story of Cole and MJF. It's just a bunch of Ring of Honor presence. Didn't feel need to be on the show. Alas, MJF made his way back. Got the attack. Hit the kangaroo kick. Not on Nazi Open, but on Dark Order. So, they had double clothesline finally for the win, and they retain. And again, them working on MJF's neck. And, you know, MJF, him molding into his babyface turn. Seemingly, but still seemingly like a prick. You know, it's certainly been a joy. And, you know, soon it feels like, just feels like at the moment, Adam Cole is gonna turn on MJF, you know, side with Kingdom, side with Roddy, side with potentially Kyle O'Reilly, win the title, and certainly go on this parade, dick like Adam Cole run, and really open up this, you know, different character. But same at the same time, MJF. Nonetheless, MJF has shown at 27 that he is really the present and future of AEW. And with this face turn, he's really becoming into his stardom, which you'll have to see because, with AEW, you want those stars, and MJF has shown that the more you power on him, the more he keeps going. And he's willing to take that low. While he can. So after. So the next match was slated to be Samoa Joe versus Shane Taylor for Ring of Honor TV Championship. So MJF was going up the stage, going up the ramp. Samoa Joe shoved him aside with the biggest, cheekiest grin you could see on his face. So, for those who remember, watch NXT when it was really at its height. Samoa Joe, the meme or the gif was Samoa Joe as NXT champion making his entrance, security, and MJF is security and he shoves him aside. So fast forward a number of years later, and history repeats itself. So MJF obviously got flashbacks. He rushed to the ring. He got a brawl. He was getting choked out. And officials and parties came over to break it up. Because Mojo still has the match. And yep, that was fun. MJF versus Mojo, probably gonna be brewing. I mean, it's teased for a reason. Whether it's Grand Slam, Samoa Joe throws his name into the tournament. MJF versus Samoa Joe at Wrestle Freedom. MJF versus Samoa Joe Full Gear. We'll see. But yeah, it's gonna be intriguing match, I would say. Now, this match I was not intrigued for. I think many would say the same. Samoa Joe for Shane Taylor. Yeah, this is fine. Taylor caught Joe off the top with a cutter counter to a chokehold. Had a nice splash up top for 2, but ultimately Joe won with a rear naked choke, Coquille clutch, as Taylor tapped out. Simple. So next up, there you go. I mean, it's weird, but I get it. You know, Joe doesn't need the title. He's obviously better for AEW, but yeah, it is what it is. And if you're gonna tease this feud with MJF, then gotta keep him looking strong. Yes, it's Ring of Honor, but still. This good match here with Darby and Luchasaurus for the TNT Championship. TNT title, you know, we know the history with the beginning of the year when it was being hot potatoed around, just very easily. And yeah, it was not a good look, but now the match and the title is looking much better in the hands of Christian Cage and Luchasaurus. I mean, Christian Cage in his heel work is doing some of the best work in all pro wrestling. Just Christian Cage and his prick-like nature. I mean, it works. It really works. And everybody who's anybody knows that I'm arguably the biggest fan of Christian, seeing how underrated he was used in TNA and AEW, or WWE. It's certainly a joy to see how he's being used, how he's been thriving in AEW, certainly. But yeah, this match is good. So, Luchasaurus got a torture rack on Darby, but Darby countered to a crucifix. Darby had a crucifix to the outside on Christian. An avalanche code red on Luchasaurus. Seemed like miscommunication as Luchasaurus did not kick out initially. So, then off top, Darby was distracted by Christian Cage, and he was obviously feuding with Nick Wayne at the bottom. Luchasaurus took advantage, hit numerous tombstones, snake eyes by Luchasaurus, and a lariat to the back of the head for the win. And they retain Konosuke / Luchasaurus TNT champion. And yeah, so they won the title on the initial debut of Collision. And, Collision's now a couple months old. And, yeah, it's been a very good thing for the title. Certainly very needed to bring it back, at least to help bring it back to the prestige of how it used to be with Miro, Brody Lee, Cody Rhodes. I mean, it's going to take a while, but seeing it being built back up is certainly a good thing. AEW now with that, now slowly building back up the tag team division. It looks like, things are working. Things are put into play, and you like to see it. Powerhouse Hobbs vs Miro. The funny chant match, we could pretty much say. Yeah. This was one of the best matches of the night, and this was very good for a big man match. The thing is about big man matches, you always get a bit concerned. They may not get enough time. The styles may not mesh well for a very good match. But yeah, this was given time, and this is good. So, yeah, fun chants all over. This is good. So, Miro hit a senton to the outside on Hobbs, showing his agility. Hobbs man back in the ring with a body block for a 2. Miro hit a big superplex. Hit a Machka kick, only for a near fall. Hobbs hit a big spinebuster, but to no avail. Miro then followed up with a spinebuster of his own and locked in the game over, and Hobbs tapped out. So afterwards, Hobbs loses again, but it was a fun-filled match. Punk now fired, now no longer seems to face a collision. Jay White, which, no surprise, took his place on the poster and whatnot. But yeah, guys like Hobbs, guys like Miro, guys like Jay White, Andrade, Malachi, those guys to help push to the forefront, being the faces of Collision and TNT. Ricky Starks, these guys helping continue to build the future of AEW. This was a hell of a match. Afterwards, we've been clamoring for it, and people have been wondering about it. But Miss CJ Perry, the former Lana of WWE, Miro's wife, she finally arrived in AEW. So first off, excuse me. So they actually shook hands at the end of the match. And once Miro turned his back, Hobbs clobbered him and started choking him out. And afterwards, CJ Perry was out there, and she posed on the stage before running down, getting a chair, smacked Hobbs in the back with it, which distracted him long enough for Miro to gain the advantage, wiped Hobbs out with the chair. Then he locked eyes with his wife and looked perplexed of her being there, and he left. Miro with a story finally on AEW is a plus. I will say it's different because Miro did say, he's not going to worship his God anymore. He's not going to worship, his wife anymore. So, now Singer in AEW, it's going to put a spin on things. So, we'll see. But either way, it's going to help his character, and we'll see. It's going to be fun. With all the good action we've had thus far, unfortunately it was going to feel like a come down spot. And unfortunately that's kind of felt like where the ladies felt with this match with Ruby Soho and Kris Statlander. This match was alright, but with the shenanigans and posts, the very good Miro and Hobbs match, it felt like, didn't go too well. So, so we got distractions from Saraya. Now, we're getting towards the end of the match, so Ruby, it looked like she had spray paint in her hand as Saraya was distracting the referee. Tony Storm, who we obviously saw a dissension with the Outcast at Allin, she took the spray paint out of Soho's hands, which distracted Ruby enough enough for Statlander to hit the Sunday Night Fever for the win. You know, it's basically no matter the day, it's the Fever. So, there you go. So, I mean, great to see Statlander. You know, great that she won the title. But the title reign is being booked poorly. So, I mean, what's next for her? I don't know. Yeah, let's see. Ricky Starks, then. Whew, this strap match was. I was very curious how it's going to turn out. Of course, I kind of cringe because the fact that, you know, Bryan's now seemingly healthy again right after, you know, his arm breaking in two against Okada. So, I mean, his first match back is a strap match. But this is fun, it's brutal. What do you expect? And, you know, Ricky Starks being in this moment felt like it propelled them to another level. And, you know, and Bryan was asked about it at the media scrum. It was certainly a joy to see. But, yeah, Ricky Starks is another one of those guys, you know. Certainly with the momentum, you know, people were obviously skeptical about Collision, made hyperbole statements about Collision now that Punk, because it was Punk's show, now that he's fired. But, you know, with this drama now out the door, with, you know, guys like I said, Ricky Starks, Malachi, etc., now seemingly getting a new lease on life, you know, Collision is still a good thing because, look, AEW has a deep roster, and unfortunately, there's only 2 hours of Dynamite. Nobody cares about Rampage. But Collision provides more opportunity for other talented studs on that roster to get TV time, showcase themselves. I mean, if they can keep being consistently steady with how Collision is going, then it's going to stay good in the long haul. But yeah, this Ricky got a fast start. He attacked Bryan before the strap was put on him. You know, threw him into. They were fighting on the outside, started whipping him, and Bryan was bust open almost automatically. Bryan fought back. He did bust open Ricky a little bit. Not sure how much was his or Bryan's blood. But last he was trapped in the corner, kind of brutal spot with the strap. So that was something. So yeah, they started whipping each other back and forth. I mean, brutal spot where Ricky just like hammered Bryan over the head, numerous times. There's a weight belt. I mean, brutal back and forth, whipping each other. Way out the corner by Starks. So Big Bill got involved after a while. After Bryan hit a knee. Ricky Steamboat, he was on commentary. And did what he could to stop Big Bill for time being, but Bryan dived to the outside on both Big Bill and Ricky Starks. So there you go. So back in the ring, Starks did a nice spear for a near fall. Bryan followed up with a psycho knee for only a 2. Bryan then, resourcefulness, with the strap. Great finish. Bryan used the strap, locked in the bell lock, and wrapped it around Starks' neck. And Starks passed out. And Bryan for the win. So yeah, very fun match. Very back and forth. Remind you of the good strap matches, not like the bullhorn matches where it's like the 4 corners and stuff. But yeah, this is fun. Yeah. Yeah. The women's match, the Shane Taylor match, and this match coming up were obviously the 2 matches just... I would say the 3 matches that were just like, eh. So we got Shibata and Eddie Kingston. Which, by the way, Eddie Kingston had a hilarious shirt. Homage to Terry Funk as well. But on Eddie Kingston's shirt, it read, Claudio sucks eggs. So, there you go. But yeah, we got Shibata and Eddie Kingston versus Yuta and Claudio Castagnoli. This is fine, again, random, but I bet we're going to get Kingston versus Claudio at Grand Slam. Just kind of how it feels with Kingston being the New Yorker. But yeah, so match here, big strikes, back and forth. Neutralizer by Claudio on Kingston for a near fall. Kingston a back fist to Yuta. But Claudio came in with a surprise finish, a big stiff uppercut to Kingston for the win. So, there you go. Afterwards, Claudio was asked if the rivalry with Kingston is over. Claudio says he sure hopes so. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I do like the physicality of Shibata, but I mean, yeah, this match was... didn't feel like it needed to be on the show, I'd say. Unless it was Kingston versus Claudio, but it seems like they're saving it And then this gem, this great match. Konosuke Takeshita vs Kenny Omega. Now, Konosuke surprised Omega last week with the pin in the six-man tag versus part of Bullet Club Gold against the Golden Elite. But, so you thought Omega was going to get his win back. That was not the case. But it was a hell of a match. Got a good amount of time. Yeah, as you expect. But yeah, this was fun and really molded Takeshita and really showcased how much of a beast he is and his biggest win to date. So, one spot here where Takeshita dumped Omega on his head with a backdrop driver. Jeez. Omega took the Tiger Driver 91 from Ospreay at Forbidden Door. Now he takes this. I mean, jeez. So, they're all to the floor. Omega, you can't escape off the barricade. Takeshita followed with a brainbuster. Looks like it sucked. So, then Takeshita followed with a senton and then went for another but missed. Omega rides the Terminator onto the outside. Back of ring. I was worried because it was on the side of the announce table. But luckily, no harm there. So, back in the ring. Omega poison Rana for a near fall. Ospreay a big lariat out of the corner. Omega followed a powerbomb V-trigger for a near fall. Then probably a spot of the match. Takeshita hit an avalanche, Blue Thunder Bomb, which was a big spot there. Callis tried to install the screwdriver to help Takeshita, but so as Omega was going for the one-winged angel, Takeshita was disarmed. Yeah, but Takeshita fought out. He had big German suplex, followed with his big running knee on Omega for the win. Takeshita pinned Omega right in the ring. Now again, I saw the highlights, I didn't see the whole thing, so maybe there was, more shenanigans, but I mean, jeez. Just like that. To catch. Well, again, like with MJF and like the guys I mentioned for a collision, about the future and about the present, Takeshita's what? In his late 20s? So, and Omega obviously showed he can still very much go. But I mean, yeah, Takeshita is in his late 20s. That is a huge for a guy you are looking to build your future around guys like, the the veterans were there, MJF, etc. Amen Tag, World Cup Gold. Which, by the way, that entrance was... Damn, that was good. So, yeah. So, yeah, this match, alright, But, I mean, we got the shenanigans of last week. I mean, this was funny in the sense of the Young Bucks toying with the crowd. Of Chicago Punk's, firing. So, yeah, this just funny. But yeah, so both Cup Gold, back and forth. But in the end, we got ties on the outside, but in the end, Jay White hit a Blade Runner on Cash. Colin followed up to pin Cash Wheeler in the middle of the ring. So, two shows AEW does. Seems like his two closest compadres in AEW, they both lose as tag team champions. FTR as Dax lost on Collision to Jay White. Cash lost, at All Out. And, again, dissension between the Bucks and FTR. Curious how that's going to go. With the momentum Bullet Club Gold, they're Bullet Club Gold for a reason. They're going to eventually get some gold. So, I mean, one of the teams got challenged for FTR, sometime. So, yeah, I'm curious how it's going to shake out. Main event. Jon Moxley versus Orange Cassidy for the International Championship. Very enjoyable was this match. Look, I've obviously voiced my displeasures with the way, Orange Cassidy's booked and, the consistent booking. It's been, the repetition of him, opening the show, with title defenses that are good, but kind of mean nothing, and him looking like superhuman at times, the way he's built, but, at the end of the day, he's a good wrestler with an alright gimmick. And while title reign needed to come to an end. It was still a very much admirable title reign. And against Moxley, did what he needed to do. And this was an enjoyable main event. So, early on, Orange is Suicida. I like this little change in character, seemingly over the last couple weeks. So, then Orange was thrown to the post. He was busted open. Basically, his hair was red for pretty much the whole match. Moxley apologized for a near fall. Orange mounted a comeback, hit a diving TT, followed with an orange punch for a 2. Moxley exposed the concrete on the outside, but Orange dumped him on it for a beach break, followed back into the ring. Orange was fired up. Hit an orange punch, followed with a spear. Then with some kicks. Mox followed up, hit a big lariat. Then hit a Death Rider, but Orange kicked out. Afterwards, Orange got up, flipped Moxley off, and Moxley finished off with another Death Rider DT for the win. And we have a new international champion. The third in history. Yeah. Does Moxley need it? No. Did the title reign of Orange Cassidy need to end? Yes. Now, obviously, Orange did get an ovation afterwards. We could certainly see Orange Cassidy take a break. He certainly deserved it. He certainly deserved the vacation that Mox didn't get last year. But yeah, we'll see where both parties go from here. But yeah, Blackpool Comic Club have more gold. So curious to see where they go from here. But All Out was very good. We expected it was going to be good. It's just, like I said, the clunkiness, the build this last week was left to be desired. Last is over. Move on to the next. We got Grand Slam by a couple weeks. Build towards that. We got Wrestle Freedom in October. I imagine we're going to get maybe Mercedes, maybe some, New Japan talent on the show. We'll see. But yeah, the clunkiness is now over after a successful AEW week. It was fun though. Alas, thank you guys for joining me though. Like this video. Leave a like, a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. Or if you just want to help out the channel, whichever works. But alas, thank you guys. Be back for Dynamite review on Thursday. So keep your eyes open for that. But thank you guys. See you guys later this week. Peace.